Good evening. Here is the world news from BGI TV, Babagbagede Imo TV. I am Morire Rabila Lawal. First are the major headlines for the world news. Don't abandon governors for electioneering. Buhari warns ministers. Kanu's release paramount for peaceful elections in Southeast APC. One feared dead as groups clash in Lagos markets. My doctors gave me 2,000 naira transport fare from the money paid. Bandit attack Zamfara LG, kill 1, kidnap 8. And another story, most Anambra farmers died because they couldn't leave their crops. Yobe children cry out, we are being married off to pay debts. And on foreign, bomb blast outside Yangon prison, kill 8, wound 18. And on sports, clubs propose abridged 2022-2023 season. Second sports story, League One, Super Eagles forward Murphy ruled out for 2 weeks with injury. Now the news in detail. President Muhammadu Buhari on Tuesday in Abuja warned ministers, permanent secretaries and heads of government agencies not to abandon the business of governance for electioneering, saying any infrastructure will be viewed seriously. The warning was contained in a statement issued by the presidential spokesman Femi Adesina. The president issued the directive at the closing ceremony of the 2022 Ministerial Performance Review Retreat, presided by his signing of Executive Order 012 on improving performance management, coordination and implementation of presidential priorities. The president told participants at the retreats that with the commencement of campaigns towards the 2023 general elections, the business of governance must continue to receive the needed attention during the period. Consequently, all ministers, permanent secretaries, and heads of agencies must remain focused in the discharge of their duties, as any infrastructure will be viewed seriously. Our collective goal is to map out a transition plan for the incoming administration to ensure proper documentation of all the policies, programs and projects of government with up-to-date status of implementation, he said. President Buhari noted that the lessons learned in the last 3 years of implementing the administration's policies, programs and projects would serve as the needed tool to propel every ministry to remain committed towards the achievement of developmental objectives. He therefore charged all ministers, permanent secretaries and heads of government agencies to step up, double their effort and work in synergy towards total delivery of the administration's set goals. On Executive Order 1-2, the President explained that it would institutionalize a culture of accountability and transparency in the pursuit of good governance. Moving to the next story, the release of the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, is paramount for peaceful elections in the southeast zone of Nigeria in 2023. Two chieftains of different parties in Imo State made this known on Channels Television Sunrise program on Wednesday. If anything, we have severally called on the state government to call for a peaceful conference. Nnamdi Kanu's release is paramount to peace and peaceful election in the southeast in 2023, said the chieftain of the People's Democratic Party (PDP), Ray Emeagah. On his part, a founding member of the All Progressive Congress (APC), Chris Lance Osondo Onyemachara, said, "Sure, I agree with you. Personally, I wish the government does not appeal the ruling. Sincerely, I want him to be released and I want us to have peace in Southeast," he added. After legal fireworks for over a year since he was returned to Nigeria, an appeal court sitting in Abuja on October 13, 2022, discharged Kanu, who is being prosecuted by the federal government at the Federal High Court in Abuja for 15 charges bordering on treasonable felony, terrorism, among others. And to Lagos State. There is tension in the Alaba area of Lagos State as two groups clashed in early hours of Wednesday. One person has been confirmed dead in the deadly clash between Alaba market traders and street urchins, popularly called area boys in the local parlance. The market has been shut down due to the confrontation between the two groups. Details around the clash is sketchy, as at the time of filing this report, where it was reportedly caused by the move of the Lagos State government to clear the roads around the market of illegal loading by commercial buses and traders displaying their wares illegally. Moving on to the next story. A victim, Fatima Ibrahim, told the High Court in Zaria that the kidnappers gave her 2,000 naira as transportation fare after collecting money from her. The police charged that Atu Shehu, Lawal Aliyu, Bullets, Nuhu Ismaila, and Noura Usman with criminal conspiracy, armed robbery, illegal possession of firearms, and kidnapping. The police said the offense contravened sections 59 bracket 1, 246 A and B of the Penal Code and section 6 bracket B of the Firearms Special Provision Act. Ms. Ibrahim testified as a witness too at the resumed hearing of the case at Kaduna State High Court 1, Dogara, Zaria. On January 2nd, 2021, in the night, I heard some strange noises in the house. As I woke up and switched on the light, I saw the four defendants with a gun and machete. They wanted to know where my husband was. I told them he was away, she said. The witness, she said she was kidnapped and taken to Galadima Forest after taking her children and valuables away from the house. They called my husband and negotiated money, 6 million naira, to be paid in 2 installments. The money was paid in my presence, and the fourth defendant, Usman, gave me 2,000 naira out of the money as transportation fare, she told the court. The defendant said, directed her on where to board a vehicle that would take her home and assured that nothing would happen to her and others. Under cross-examination by defense counsel A.Y. Musa, Ms. Ibrahim was asked to mention the name of the person who brought the money to the suspect. I do not know his name, but I know him because he works with my husband, she said. The prosecution counsel, Jumai Den Azumi, applied that the witness be discharged. Justice Kabiru Dabo discharged the witness and adjourned the matter until November 15th to continue the hearing. Earlier, Jafaru Ibrahim, the court registrar, read a letter from the Nigeria Correctional Service Zaria intimating the court that the second defendant, Mr. Aliyu Bullet, had died. He said the letter was attached to a death certificate from the Gambo Sawaba General Hospital, Zaria. The judge struck out the charge against the deceased suspects. Moving on to the next story, from Zaria in Kaduna State to Zamfara. Armed bandits on Monday night attacked Ayin Baki area of Anka local government area of Zamfara State, killed 1 person and kidnapped 8 others. Sources from the local government headquarters told Channel Television that the gunmen stormed the area around 11:30 p.m. and started shooting sporadically. Residents said some of the kidnapped persons were workers of the Itebu Water Company and the manager of a poultry farm. The bandits entered Anka last night around Ayin Banki area and kidnapped 9 people, but 1 of them was later found dead. Many livestock were also rustled, the source said. Anka local government area has been experiencing various attacks since the beginning of the year and is one of the local government recently shut down by the state government. The Public Relations Officer of the Zamfara State Police Command, SP Mohammed Shehu, said the command has deployed tactical operatives to the area and efforts are ongoing to ensure their safe return. He said, "It is true, we are in a situation the command has deployed tactical operatives to the area with a view of rescuing the victims unharmed." Moving on to the next story. The Anambra North senatorial candidate of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, Honorable Mrs. Uzwa Makapis Obimoso, has said that people died due to flood because they didn't want to leave their farms. She said during an interview with journalists in Oka, said the level of death registered in the recent flood in the area was unprecedented. She said it was not easy on our people, even when some of them saw the ferocious nature of the flood. The temptation for them not to abandon their source of their income was high. Some of our people who could not resist the temptation to abandon their farm produce got drowned by the flood. That was a story of some people from Inzam conveying their rice produce to market. Unfortunately, they lost their lives. It was the same story at Ogbari, where some people had to beg boatmen to ferry them to market, but they still could not make it because they lost their life as a result of overload of goods and persons. Some persons were literally swept away from the houses by the menacing flood. Almost the houses in Anambra North got submerged by the flood. A lot of farm produce were lost also to the flood. From that story, we go to Yobe State from the east part of Nigeria. Members of the Children's Parliament have raised the alarm over the betrothal of underage girls to old men for economic reasons. The parliament raised the alarm Tuesday in Abuja at a media roundtable organized by Save the Children International (SCI) to commemorate the 10th anniversary of International Day of the Girl Child. A girl champion from Yobe State, Khadija Badamasi, said, "Yobe State, where I hail from, due to poverty, has the largest number of child brides in northeast Nigeria. In my community, most people are farmers, and due to poverty, parents borrow money to cultivate their farms. During harvest, if the father is unable to pay back the loan, a father usually takes the decision to give out his daughter in marriage, regardless of her age most times, to a man old enough to be a father or grandfather. This bride pride," she added, "is treated like a slave with no respect of any kind because of how she was betrothed." Badamasi also pointed out that girls with disabilities face additional barriers to accessing support and services, adding that the coronavirus disease, COVID-19, worsened the plight of girls around the world and took away important gains made over the last decade. From that story, we go to the foreign story. At least 2 bombs exploded outside a prison in Yemen's commercial hub, Yangon, on Wednesday, killing 8 people and wounding 18 in Junta. The blast hit a crowd lining up to drop off parcels for inmates at Insane Prison on Wednesday morning, the Junta's information team said in a statement, without specifying exactly how many explosions had occurred. Local media citing prison officials said at least 3 prison staff were among the dead. Pictures in local media purporting to capture the aftermath showed that appeared to be blood stains on the floor around a counter and shattered windows. According to a witness, security forces locked down the area around the sprawling colonial-era prison, which rights groups say holds hundreds of prisoners detained by the junta in its crackdown on dissent. And 2 sports story. The clubs in Nigeria Professional Football League are pushing for an abridged league for 2022-2023 season. The club cited time constraints and the need to have a uniform calendar, where the European leagues has risen for their proposals. Daily Post learned that the proposal for the abridged league will be forwarded to the Interim Management Committee (IMC) once the body is inaugurated by the Nigeria Football Federation (NFF). The IMC is the new body saddled with the responsibility of running the NPFL after the League Management Committee (LMC) was declared illegal by Nigeria Sports Ministry. The league, according to the proposal by the club owners, will be divided into 2 groups of 10 teams each. And to the final sports story, Super Eagles forward Terry Murphy will be sidelined for 2 weeks as a result of injury. Murphy sprained his ankle in Lawrence 0-0 draw against Rams last weekend. The 23-year-old was replaced by Mali international Ibrahim Kone in the 25th minute. He will be out for 2 weeks, a reliable source close to Murphy told Score Nigeria. The injury was not as serious at first and extensive tests and scans were done and we will soon be back. Murphy is now expected to miss Lawrence game against Troyes and OG Knights. The striker has scored 8 goals in 11 league appearances for Lawrence this season. That concludes the world news from BGI TV this evening. Before we go, some major headlines. Don't abandon governance for electioneering. Buhari warns ministers SGF. Kanu's release paramount for peaceful elections in Southeast, APC. 1 feared dead as group clash in Lagos market. And on sports, Super Eagles forward Terry Murphy ruled out for 2 weeks due to injury. For more updates on YouTube, our handle is Bagede Imo TV. Kindly subscribe and click on the notification bell for more updates. On Facebook, Bagede Imo with Alawiye Adebayo. Please like and follow the page. On Instagram, Bagede Imo _22. For advert placement of your goods and services, coverage of events and functions, please dial the phone number streaming on the screen for advert placements only. Thank you for watching. I am Morire Rebila Lawal.
Oh, na, na, na. If you want to know what's going on in city, or you want to listen to the latest news and gist, no stress, oh, just tune to BGI TV. BGI TV, you are one in a million.